out there though who's not where I am, you can't do your job anymore. And people can say you got to change with the times. How does changing with the times help you have better relationships with your players when it's all transactional now? So what kind of relationship can you have with somebody that is telling you, I might be here 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, or I might be at 4 schools in 4 years? And it has nothing to do with the money. Forget the money part. This is about the ability that you can just walk out anytime you want.
What's up, world? Welcome back to Charge the Game podcast. I'll be your host here, Chuck, and we got to get into this, man, as this is the Uconn head coach, Gino. Some Italian last name I won't try to pronounce. Let me try. Arlima. Gino, we're going to call him Coach G. Coach Gino, head coach of the Uconn basketball, man. And right off the rip, man, obviously this video is about the NIL and is this not damaging college football and basketball sports, right? So, and I think that the NIL deal and the NIL transfer portal, I think that affects all sports. So it's not even just, it's bigger than college football and basketball, but the main sports that bring in the massive revenue, millions and millions and millions of dollars to this sport is due to basketball and football being number one, of course. Now, you guys can look at this video and tell that Gino is obviously one of those old school coaches that, you know, he's cut from that old school cloth, right? And hey, I'm only 31, right? I ain't young, but I'm old enough to know what it was like back in the early 90s up until this point, right? So I got to catch the glimpse of the bridge between old school and new school sports all over. And the truth is, the world has changed, and they're pushing this agenda that most coaches need to get with it or get lost, right? And I made a video about this. The moment that the NIL and the transfer portal became allowable, for lack of better words, that this was going to be very, very good for the sports, because now all teams can be an all-star team. Any team can be an all-star team. I mean, some of these schools who haven't been in good competition or been recognized on national TV, it's no surprise that these teams are just doing well now. You know what I mean? And that becomes part of the whole NIL deal, right? You got all-star caliber, D1 type of athletes transferring all across the nation. So any team with deep pockets and good money, the right NIL, any player trying to find a situation to help his struggling mother, his struggling sister, take care of siblings and other family members. Some of these college kids got more kids than adults now. So they're going to look for where they can still showcase their talents and also feed their families. So I totally understand it. Now, in my opinion, before we get into this report, in my opinion, I think that there should be some type of cap or some type of regulations that apply to the NIL in the transfer portal. I just do, because he's right. I mean, this is any coach, whether you're black, whether you're white, Hispanic, doesn't matter. Any coach is going to want to build a program where players return for a chance to create generational wealth at the next level for their family. It's very hard to sustain a program with a lot of transfers. Me personally, I don't see anything wrong with it at the end of the season, because that's when you see like a lot of changes, particularly at the end of the season, right? Now, I'll even be nice, right? You got one chance to trade during the season and one chance postseason. So I do think that if you look at it that way, then that's suitable for football. Now, I don't know all the NIL and the ins and out of it, but I do know that, hey, this would make me very cocky and arrogant if I was a player. You think I want to be yelled at, right? Let's just be honest. Most people come from backgrounds where another person yelling at them isn't the best look or the best case scenario. A lot of these old school coaches have gotten away with murder. I mean, we've seen all type of coaches hit their athletes. None of that. It doesn't exist anymore. And he's one of those people. You can look at him. He's one of those people that's cut off the old block, a chip off the old block. Like, he It's very old school. Reminds me a lot of the of Coach K, right? What's the guy name at Duke that was there for a long time and just retired? I can't remember his name right now, but you got to think about that. Like, these coaches are going to have a hard time letting this type of mentality seep into their locker room. They cannot get with it. You guys saw Nick Saban retired. You guys really don't think Nick Saban looks good for his age? Yes, he's a lot like Belichick, but he adapts way quicker than Belichick ever did. And he's quitting. And I don't blame him. You're a made man. You've accomplished multi-national championships, car dealerships. It was about time for you to let it go, because Nick Saban, if you have a good eye for the game, you can just you can see where this is going to go. And it's going to get super out of hand before they get a hold of this. I've already said that. And that's okay. So let's get into this report. So we all saw where Coach G obviously said something, and one of the transfers, Lauren Park Lane, responded. So you guys can see right here in Court Rant. You guys can see here in courtrant.com where it says Uconn coach Gino clarifies transfer portal comments after Lauren Park Lane responds. And as you guys can see, this was Park Lane's comment here. Woo. I still have eligibility left, so I'm going to just save my comments. Right? And obviously that caught his eye, where he probably saw that. But anyway, here's another snippet of what he was saying. At a school like St. John's and women basketball, or some other teams in our league, you've got a player that's really, really, really good. And you just have to coach the hell out of them and make them who they are. It happened to Seton Hall last year. And that kid goes, yeah, I think I can make more money somewhere else. Okay, well, you wouldn't have been this good if it wasn't for your coaching staff you have right now. And I kind of get what he's saying. He's saying like these opportunities come from the position that these coaches are putting them in to be able to walk away. So it's like a double-edged sword. I mean, like, yeah, you can coach a kid up. Guess what? Business is business, right? Other colleges and schools are going to keep noticing that. They're going to keep wanting to keep attracting talent, so they're going to do it. You know, they're going to tamper with your students. They're going to tamper with your athletes. And that's what comes from that, right? So, I don't know, man. This whole NIL thing is going to cause a lot of more problems in the future, I believe. But it's also very good for the sport. So, I want you guys to weigh in on this and tell me exactly what you think. Like, do you guys think that this NIL transfer portal, will this be sustainable for the future years to come? Like, weigh in on this topic, man. I want to hear everybody's input on this. How do you feel about this? Is your school someone that was affected or benefited from the transfer portal? Let me know, like always, man. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you guys can continue to get the latest when I drop my sports media takes. Thank you guys so much. Like always, let me know how you charge the game. Peace.